Good morning, candidates. This is Lieutenant Piazza. As you know, myself, Lieutenant Molinex, Lieutenant Sheriffs, Lieutenant Otto, and Lieutenant Acosta just finished up OCC 244. That was the 10-week program. This is currently Monday. We wrapped up on Saturday. We graduated on Saturday. So Lieutenant Tobar wanted us to come together and individually make some videos explaining what we thought were the hardest parts of OCS. So this is my video on that. As far as OCS goes, there's nothing graded wise that you aren't prepared for, that you're not going to be able to pass. There's leadership, there's academics, there's physical fitness. I trust that Lieutenant Tobar and the entire Miami OST will have you prepared to pass all those, as he had myself, and the other 4 candidates that just graduated highly prepared as well. So I wouldn't worry too much about, I don't let the sinking thought of, am I good enough, am I ready, sink in, because you are good enough, you are ready, I can tell you that right now. The hardest part is basically battling yourself every day, the mental warfare of, am I going to be able to get through this day? Because a lot of times you're only running on 4, 5, 6 hours of sleep, 7 if you're lucky. There's a lot that goes into your sleep. There's a lot of things you got to get done at night. You always have, for the most part, you'll always have a fire watch shift you got to do at night. And through the day, you're exhausting yourself way more than you probably ever have in your entire life, through the physical, mental, all the struggles that you go through in a day. Again, I mean, if you're a prior enlisted, you've probably dealt with a lot of things like this, but coming from being a prior civilian like myself, a lot of the things you go through at OCS, it's your first time experiencing anything that tough, going through the rigors that you go through. So on top of being extremely tired every day, running on no sleep, you have to wake up and you have to do something even more physically challenging the next day. You have to wake up and you have to take an exam the next day. You have to wake up and you have a leadership evaluation the next day. So as far as the hardest part of OCS, I would say it's dealing with how tired you are, how hungry you are, how cold or hot you may be, whether you're going in the summer or the winter. It gets really hot and it gets really cold, and that is a big factor on how you're going to operate that day. So yeah, I'd say the hardest part is the mental warfare. I mean, you have to constantly remind yourself on why you're there. You have to constantly remind yourself what the purpose is for what you're doing, because the moment you allow yourself to think about how miserable you are, or how much this sucks, or how comfortable you could be if you were at home in bed and you never did this, or if you quit right now, you could be home in bed by next week. If you start to allow yourself to think that, you've already lost. You're already too deep in a hole. So it's a constant mental warfare, a constant mental battle of reminding yourself why you're there, finding the positives in what you're doing, finding the strength to go on, and finding the strength to really push through and get to the next part. And when people tell you, take it a day at a time, take it a second at a time, go meal by meal, it sounds cliche before you get there. It sounds like, maybe I'll take it a week at a time, or maybe it won't be that bad, I can go week by week. No, you really got to go a day at a time, a task at a time. Every time something comes up that you think you can't do, just remind yourself, you got to get through today, you got to get through this next task, you got to get through this next meal. Just don't even allow yourself to think about the next thing until you've gotten to that point. So yeah, that's what I would say is the hardest part, is the constant mental battle. So just show up ready to push yourself, show up ready to dig deep, show up ready to find the purpose in everything you do. And if you can show up with that kind of mindset, that refreshing mindset, the ability to reset your mind every day, you'll be just fine. That's as far as what I can tell you for the hardest part of OCS. That's what I'd say. My best advice is just show up, be a sponge, learn everything you can, be humble, and be ready to reset your mind every single day.